So on a certain level, I feel like I lucked out because I turned in that chapter like minutes before we were supposed to record last week, and then we didn't record last week. So now it makes me look like I got it in early. I feel good about that.
Yeah. And I have not done my rewrite pass, so I'm the person who's fucking it up. Which is good. It's good to be the guy who's
good to pass it back and forth. I like it that
fucking
way.
it up. Yeah, and that's chapter 16.
Right.
The only thing I can blame is I have had a lot of people in and out of my house, a lot of out of town company, and
well, we've had some other stuff going on too. I mean, that's not as though there were nothing. But do we want to talk about that and what your plans are for it?
Honestly, it's just the last conversation with
as
the guy.
As we had expected.
Yeah, I want to tweak that a little bit, a little more specificity in some of it, I think. And I really like him as described. I really like how you sort of. I like the character you created a lot. I just want to mess with the conversation a little bit.
The plan was always for you to take last press on that one, so I was putting it in as a placeholder.
Yeah,
so.
No, I think it's really good, and I think just with just some tweaks to that conversation, I think it's going to be great.
All right.
And then what are we doing next? What's next on the agenda? Oh, and also we should talk about the fact that sorry about missing last week, but Joseph almost got eaten by hurricanes.
Was driving into a hurricane and decided not to. So, good on him. I support his
so please be patient with us. We did not demand that our producer kill himself to get the next episode up and running.
I mean, this time.
Yeah, maybe next time we'll be like, all right, Joseph, time to fall on your sword, man.
You took your pass, man. Now it's the real deal.
You get one life-saving pass per year, I guess.
Yeah, and then after that, it's I don't know.
Yeah, after that, you got to battle to the death.
Yeah. Something sparkle motion something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Sometimes I question Joseph's commitment to sparkle motion.
Well, so I guess we start talking about 17, right?
Yes.
And where are we? What are our thoughts on 17?
Do we have an outline for where we were going with 17?
We talked about it in a bunch, but I don't know if we wrote anything down. If we wrote anything down, it would be in the Patreon feed, and it's not, so I don't think we did.
Right. Okay, great. So 16 is Michael dealing with figuring out what's going on, and then wasn't
the next thing has got to be going back to the Jays.
Or is it Brad? Sorry, there's been so just for those of you listening in, Daniel and I have had a lot going on over the last couple of weeks.
It's been brutal.
And in fact, we have to conclude this recording relatively early because we have a 3 o'clock meeting for another thing that is incredibly important that we've been spending a lot of time working on over the last couple of weeks. So this is one of those distractions that is fucked up.
And hopefully we'll actually have an announcement at some point about that, so we can actually talk about it.
Hopefully we're going to have an announcment pretty soon on a completely different thing. Who knows? But in the meantime, we have been very, very distracted. So I apologize for how sort of
on the other hand, this
is going to be.
This is exactly as scattered as we always are about pretty much everything. So
yeah, I mean, as a window into the actual process of writing a book, this is a pretty good.
Hey, remember all that stuff they said they were going to do? No, sir. No idea.
We didn't do any of it. We're completely fucking lost at this point.
Yeah.
So the questions are, do we go back to the Jays or do we go to Brad and the Gun Thugs? Because that's the other thing that needs to happen. Is the Gun Thugs brace Brad? They get some piece of information that they pass on to Michael. That then Michael goes, oh, they're headed to Arizona. beat them there, and then we get the confrontation on the road.
No, you're right. You're correct. We have to get the gun thugs on the road, or there's no tension behind the Jays chapter.
Right. So the question is the frame for that. So is that a Brad POV? Is it one of the gun thugs POV? Is it... Because one of the things we had talked about is having it Michael on Zoom with the gun thugs. I don't know. What's the best?
Well, you also
POV
had the
for
version where we had Brad sitting there smoking his pearls when the guy showed up, and Brad just being entirely too smart.
Yeah, no, that is I think the context of this chapter. I'm more thinking about what is the POV right now. So if you're saying go from Brad's POV.
I'm kind of leaning toward Brad's POV.
Yeah. And it has some, I think, in common with that Prax chapter in Babylon's Ashes, where the OPA guys, the Free Navy guys, are bracing Prax and going, we need to find out who's been sending the information. And Prax basically admits to it, but he does it in such complicated, nerdy scientist terms that the Free Navy guys don't understand it. And they just like, oh, okay, don't let that happen again. And then they just leave. And Prax thought he was about to be shot because he thought he just admitted to everything.
So
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
As we speak, it occurs to me we might also have an opportunity here to just raise the stakes a little bit, or kind of foreshadow the things getting worse. If we have the gun thugs show up from Brad's point of view, Brad's contemplating the existential depth of the universe by just smoking a bunch of his mandala. These guys show up. And figure out what they need to figure out. Call Michael. Beat Brad up if they want to. I don't know exactly what that looks like. And reach out to Michael on Zoom. Do that from Brad's point of view. And then they leave, and we leave Brad behind. And Brad starts having a really strong emotional reaction, or starts, just like hinting at the beginning of turning into a rage zombie. I don't want to show him doing it, and I don't know how long the process takes, but it feels like maybe we win some. Maybe, I don't know. I'm making this up right now. Maybe we win something by having the sense the sharks are getting close. And as we this is nothing we've talked about, but as we get towards the end of the book, it's gonna need to be it can't just be I think we'd be better off if it were not just Josie's versus Leo, but with the sharks starting to come in too, because otherwise we've put up this, we put Cthulhu on the over the mantle and we haven't shot him.
Yeah, I mean, we always talked about having some elements of that showing up when they get to Mexico City, where we start to see that. So I think the intention was always, I agree. The intention was always to do that. The thing I'm wondering about Brad. So who do we have that is our POVs of people who are being affected by the thing, right? So we've got Leo. We have a brief POV with him. I don't know if we're ever going to go back to him. I assume we will at some point, but we haven't spent a lot of time in his head. We have Mom, who is starting to...
She's looping up.
Right. And then we've got Brad. Um, and Leo's very sort of like he's treating it all this almost like a mechanical thing, right? Like he's taking the engineering approach to this, like, oh, this thing is good and I need to make more of this thing, so I'm going to build devices to make the thing, right?
Well, and we've set up the question about who's driving,
Yeah.
whether the drug is driving or he is.
And Mom is sort of the person who never considered her own intellect before this, and now suddenly and had this daughter she didn't understand because her daughter was
So smart.
and all that, and now is going, oh wait, I could be smart. I am smart. I can do things.
I can
right?
follow this shit.
Right. And then Brad, who is approaching it as if it's just a high.
Right.
Right. And those feel like three different versions of this.
Oh, okay.
And I guess I'm the thing that's stuck in my head, and I'm not saying this is right, it's just stuck in my head, is the Brad Pitt in
that is the touchstone for this guy.
In True Romance, where he's just sitting on the couch smoking and like saying stuff that would absolutely get him killed if anybody heard it, but he's just kind of saying it under his breath. You know, the trying to send to me, I'll fucking kill you, man. You know, that whole thing. But the version of that that's stuck in my head is, so Brad is not a creature of restraint. If he's got a good drug, he's going to take all of it, right?
Oh, absolutely. No,
he's not that guy. He's not the guy who takes, he's not the guy who leaves half a glass of wine on the table, right? And the thing that's kind of stuck in my head, and I don't know if this works at all, is Brad on the couch, just high as fuck, because he's just been sitting there smoking pearls all day. By the way, have we had the thing where the guys get arrested because Brad called and said that they were...
I don't think we played that yet.
Yeah, because that's the other thing we need to play. Yeah, we're missing some stuff here. Because the other thing is before he got high as fuck, Brad called the police and said, these dudes are peeping on little girls. You should go check it out. The two guys were suspicious enough that they got arrested. Of course, they immediately get bailed out.
Right.
But they're pissed, right? They don't know who did it, but they have suspicions, right? That it's somebody related to Jeremy and the Josies that did this, right? They go to Brad's place to find... It's actually Jeremy's place. They go to Jeremy's place to see where he took off to. They find Brad there. And the version in my head is, after Brad called in the police thing, he just sat on the couch and just started lighting up and has just been doing nothing but getting high for like a day or 2 days or whatever. And the guys come in and they're talking to him, and from his, like, he doesn't even see them, right? He's like seeing the quantum realm at this point, right?
He's
seeing, he's almost at that Duarte space where it's like he's seeing the interactions between quantum fields and like just like these. Though it's fascinating the way, as the gun thugs move into the room, the way that causes shifts through the air and all the various atomic fields bumping into each other and rippling out. Like, that's what he's seeing, and he's saying stuff, but it has nothing to do with what they're asking. He's just saying random stuff, right? If we did that, and then later when Jeremy's trying to get a hold of him, he can't get a hold of him, and we imply that was the final stage before he lost it.
The shark came in, yeah.
That would work for me. Like we see him, and you could even see him seeing something moving through that quantum space that nobody else sees, right?
Or like, understanding what was coming.
Understanding that there's this thing coming that's going to gobble him up, but there's no way for him to stop.
Oh, you know what's So one that we've been, and the thing we've been playing with is addiction, right?
Yeah.
Because the part of the question is, this is when he's going to be the smartest he has ever been. This is going to be when he is in his hyper competent Albert Einstein moment, right?
Yes.
And he can't outthink these two guys.
Right.
That's a little bit of a contradiction, but if he has seen deeply enough through the veil that he knows what is coming, and it has driven him to a kind of despair, is that interesting?
So here, okay, yeah, maybe. What I was seeing is not that he's Albert Einstein competent. He smoked his way past that, right? He was Brad, then he was smart Brad, then he was Albert Einstein Brad. Now he's guy who no longer is connected to reality Brad.
Now he's like full on, ascended Buddha Brad.
Yes. Yeah, where he's not even seeing them as entities. He's seeing them as ripples in space-time moving through the room. And they're asking questions and he's not hearing the words. He's seeing the ways in which the air density shifts as the words come out and the ways in which the electric fields are pushing the atoms around. So, like, he's not going to outsmart them because he's barely aware that they exist. They're just an interesting interaction in all of the fields around him at this point, right?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And then what you're saying about this sense, the sense that there is something sort of, so you're seeing like everything, and then you're just seeing this like dark shape above you, moving closer, and
him going, oh,
yeah,
that's what happens,
right?
And it's that it. I mean, this is going back to folks who are fully addicted. They're not stupid.
Right.
It's not that, you take drugs and you think, well, this is going to end well for me.
Right.
It's that it doesn't matter because you're in this system, you're in this habit, you're in this inevitable thing now.
Yeah.
And there's a pretty parallel with Brad never being the guy who never got sober, and the guy who sees the bad end coming, and his response is, "Yeah, that's how this ends. That's where this is going to go. Well, it's going to be that's ugly. Well, it's not here yet.
I love that. I love that idea that he has this moment of epiphany where he understands what's going to happen to everybody. He sees the thing Leo doesn't see.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Because he hasn't. Because Leo has never gotten this high.
No, Leo has never gotten this high.
Yeah.
No, I there's something about that I find really interesting, that he actually reaches a transcendent state where he actually sees the nature of the universe and the sharks that are swimming around in the universe that no one can ever see, that the danger of them and what's going to happen to everybody, and recognizes his own inability to have any effect on it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of sad, but also it's kind of beautiful because he's seeing the thing that everybody dreams of seeing, the actual true nature of the universe.
Yep.
And going, well, I'm about to be eaten by that thing. Was it worth it? Maybe.
Yeah, I don't. It's kind of amazing. I mean, and it isn't happening yet. So that the two things are, I'm seeing what no human being has ever clearly seen before, and it hasn't gotten me. Yeah, I can't stop it. The bad thing has already happened, and it is coming towards me.
Yeah.
But it isn't here yet, and I'm not out of pearls.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's interesting to me. And then the guys, I think that is I think that's a split chapter. I think we need the POV of one of the two guys. Because then the guys are like trying to talk to him. He's saying stuff. Brad doesn't know he's saying anything, but he's saying stuff. He's vocalizing, right? And they're going, what the fuck is he on? What the fuck is he talking about, right? And they're making threats and they're pressing guns to his head and saying, tell us or we'll shoot you. And he's babbling on about whatever random shit he's babbling on about. And then they go through and they find something in the house that
says what they need.
Yeah. And I don't know what that thing is. Because they have to, the way I see it, they have to find something that a phone call with Mike goes, oh, I know where they're going. One of the former members of the team lives in Arizona. That's where they're headed. Here's where she lives. Go get her.
But since they didn't know they were going to Arizona when they left, that's a little tricky.
Right. So what could they find that he could then...
I got to go back and look at the chapters we had there. It may be something we need to
to feather in
rewrites.
Yeah.
It may not be there yet.
Well, so Mike has access to magical hacker tech, right?
Well, and the entire record of the Cognitive Research Group.
Right, but
I mean, that's easy.
Yes, but he needs 2 points of data.
Mm-hmm.
He needs, here's where all the people who worked on the CRG are now, and here's where it seems the Josies are headed. Oh, those 2 points of data draw a line. Clearly they're headed toward this person who was with the CRG, right?
Right.
So he knows everybody who was at the CRG, so he knows about Maya.
Right.
But he has no reason to suspect they're going to Maya yet. So he needs a piece of data that points him to, oh, that's where they're headed. They're headed to Maya for some reason. And there's things we could feather in. So obviously everybody knows that if you carry a cell phone, it can be tracked.
Sure.
Right? So one of the first things you would do is not take your cell phone. If you're trying not to be found, you would not take your cell phone.
You don't take your cell. Yeah.
So we have a scene where Jeremy's using his cell phone.
All right.
Is that the piece of information that Jeremy left with the Josies? So neither of the Josies have a phone with them, but Jeremy does. So once Mike knows that Jeremy went with them, Mike can...
Jeremy's going to have a burner phone, right? He's a drug dealer.
Right.
If what we find is the bill for that phone or the packaging,
right,
or something where he says, okay, this is the packaging for your burner phone.
Right.
Find out when this was sold, where it was sold. Okay. And then getting into kind of the deep databases and saying, okay.
Is there anything on the outside of the packaging that would allow you to track the phone inside of the packaging?
I don't know.
Is there a serial number on the packaging that you could then look up and see what phone is connected to that number?
I think it would be harder than that. The pathway that I imagine is you get, if you have the packaging and you have the receipt, you can figure out where it was bought, when it was bought. If you got that, you can go into...
No. Yeah, it's, you know what it is it's the receipt that put minutes on it.
Okay.
Because that would have the phone number on it.
That would have the... Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he bought 200 minutes for this phone number.
And it's like, okay, well, there we go.
That's the one. Yeah. So they could just find something like that, right?
I mean, yes, we make up the universe. By God, they can.
Except that we show Jeremy using what is clearly a smartphone in the hotel when he looks up his LinkedIn profile.
Sure. I mean, okay.
Are we overcomplicating it? Because the issue here is they would have no reason to know that Jeremy's with the girls, right? How would they know that?
Fair.
So they go there to find Jeremy. He's not there.
Brad is.
Brad is. They're trying to brace Brad. Where's Jeremy? They find. There's a couple of pieces of data. You would find paperwork that somebody in that house owns a car. That car is not there. The van, right? It's not there. You would have bills from the insurance for the van's license plate number, right?
I mean, depending on how Jeremy's doing, but yeah.
Yeah. Jeremy's not there. The van's not there.
Have we seen? Have any?
You have Mike. You call Mike. You say, Mike, where is this? Here's Jeremy's cell phone. We found his cell phone bill. Here's his phone number. Where is this phone? Mike gets his hacker guys. They goes, oh, that phone
Arizona.
is traveling through Arizona right now, or traveling toward Arizona, or whatever.
Right.
That now you have a dot. You go, okay, where would they be heading? Oh, here's a dot in Arizona. It's the Maya dot. Now we have a line.
That might be enough. I mean, I don't think we need to spend a lot of shoe leather on this one.
No, but I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
I don't know if we need to overcomplicate it. It's just they go there. They're looking for the Josies because they know the Josies know Jeremy, right?
Okay. So we start with the first half chapter is Brad seeing the face of God.
Yeah.
And then the second half chapter is Baca going, this guy's not here right now.
Yeah.
What do we got? Hey, boss, I got this. Will this do? And Mike saying, oh, yeah, no, that does great. Here's where they're going.
We need to review. So you reviewed the chapters recently, right? You went through them last week.
I mean, I went through them when I turned the thing in, so it's been about a week.
Yeah.
Since I looked at them.
There's nothing that tells Mike and the boys that Jeremy is with the girls in the book so far, right? Because when the girls, when Doc shows up at the house where Mike tries to kill her,
Jeremy's not there, but she is in his van.
he would see the van.
He would see the van. But he's not.
It's not like he saw a license plate number. He just saw the van. He saw her jump into it, take off, and he was busy fighting the zombie.
And if we gave him the license plate, he still doesn't know that Jeremy went with them or that they're still in the van.
Right, but that is a connection. Yeah. I guess what I'm trying to get at is, why do the guys go to Jeremy's house with the expectation that they're going to find something there that helps them find Joseph?
I think it's got to be. I mean, the only way to know to go look for Jeremy is the van.
Yeah.
Right. So Mike got
or you're running down the list. So they Baca and Cellier were on the mom and Josie's apartment. Right. Those were both dead ends. So you're going down the list, right? You're going, check the apartment. She wasn't she hasn't been there in a couple days. The parents' house, they haven't seen her.
We checked the job. We checked the coffee shop.
We've been monitoring the job. She hasn't shown up there. We've been monitoring the college ever since, because Doc went to the college and then got run off. She hasn't tried to get back into the college. They're going down the list, right?
We're talking to the AA guy. The AA guy isn't.
Yeah, we talked to this guy named Chip, who is our AA sponsor. He says he hasn't seen her in days. Also, he told us to go fuck ourselves and threatened to kick both of our asses. Like we're going down the list, and one of the things on the list is
ex-boyfriend,
right?
And saying, "Oh, hey, boss, I found out the ex-boyfriend has a van like the one you saw."
Yeah. Then it's like we're at the ex-boyfriend's house. He's not here. But we found the insurance paperwork. He owns the van that you saw Doc take off in. So clearly they are here at some point. They find the paperwork with the phone number. Mike checks. Oh, yeah, that phone is on the move. it's heading to the southwest.
There's one guy in the southwest. It's plausible they're going to get there first.
Get there first. Yeah. I mean, I guess that makes sense.
Sure. I mean, and if it's wrong, we'll change it later.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So that's the next chapter.
Well,
Nope.
maybe what we should do before we write the next chapter and before next week is come up with a list of the things that I'll reread the book, the master document up to this point, and I'll make my list of things that we haven't done yet that need to happen.
Okay.
And
that's a good idea.
Send that to you, and then you can review it and see if there's things that we aren't on that list that need to happen, and then we can make sure we're writing the correct next chapter.
Okay. And in that week, you can also do the rewrite on the
in that week, because I'll do rewrite on the current chapter. Does that work for you?
That works for me.
I mean, it won't give us a chapter by next week, but it will give us a path forward for next week. And I think we're so off the project right now. Anything we do is likely to.
I think path forward sounds good.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. And
you're getting pretty beardy, man.
I'm just tired, dude. It's less about the shaving and more about how long it's been since I had a shower. It's getting rowdy.
You got the long hair, you got the beard, man. You're going full mountain man. It's awesome.
Yeah. I look a lot older, but you can't see the roll of fat under my chin. So it feeds my vanity all the same.
I would say you look age appropriate. All right, yeah, okay, because I feel like our heads are so out of this project. A review and just sort of a roadmap that we can both agree on, so we don't take a bunch of steps in the wrong direction and go, oh shit, we were supposed to do this other thing.
No, I think that's a fine plan.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
All right.
And then let's go to the important meeting we have to do in half an hour.
Yeah, well, I think they've already started the important meeting without us, so
all right, well,
we can go jump in early.